Radhikaya Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhattaya Tadabhate Namo Sri Nandananam Vande Radhika Charana Doyam Gopijana Samayuktam Vrindavanamanohara Vajami Radham Madhavindanatram Smarami Radham Madhurasmitasyam Vadami Radham Kurunabhadaram Tato Mano Yastu Katena Kapi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I give pranams to our Gurudev. Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I hope I don't run out of internet. Also, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Dandavat pranams. So, the other day we were hearing the pastimes concerning Sri Ramananda Roy, how he exhibited the topmost excellence in controlling the mind and senses. How? Because his mind and in the service of Krishna. So today we want to talk about Swarup Damodar Goswami, with these two, the main followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Swarup Damodar, he was born actually in Navadvip. His name was Purushottamacharya. So he grew up with Lord Chaitanya. Then for some reason, he went to Varanasi to study the Shastras there. And then he took sannyas there. But in the middle of the sannyas ceremony, he heard that Nimai Pandit, means Lord Chaitanya, had also taken sannyas and gone to Puri.
Hare Krishna.
So Swarup Damodar, like a mad person, he stood up in the middle of the ceremony and went to Puri. Who's making that noise? Okay. So even though he was a sannyasi, he kept brahmachari, the dress of brahmachari, and kept his brahmachari name, Swarup Damodar. But he was expert in everything. It said he could sing like a Gandharva. In the heavenly planets, the musicians there are called the Gandharvas. He could sing and play instruments like a Gandharva. He was learned like Brihaspati, the guru of the demigods. So in Krishna Lila, he is considered to be Lalita Devi. As Ramananda Roy is considered to be Vishaka, and Swarup Damodar is considered to be Lalita. So when Lord Chaitanya spent the last 18 years of his life, of his pastimes in Jagannath Puri, then many people wanted to serve the Lord by singing songs, presenting some poetry, some writings. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu day and night would taste the meanings of the scriptures. So different persons would compose poetry, write some commentaries. But no one could read those commentaries to Lord Chaitanya unless they had been checked by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Because high-class personality feels so much pain when there's misrepresentation of the truth. Because they've given their whole lives to the truth and maintaining the disciplic succession. So when there's some deviation from that, they feel so much pain. Therefore, it would be checked first by Swarup. Right? So, there was one devotee called Bhagavanacharya. He was actually, even though he's an eternally liberated soul, the spiritual body, he had a deformed leg. Means eternally he was like that. Anyway, some confidential, hiding the confidentiality of devotion. Sometimes devotees manifest these things, but of course it cannot affect them. Like today, I took bath in the Ganga and one man said, oh, and the water was very muddy. Then one man said, "Oh, this water smelled bad today." So I was thinking this not affect the Ganga like Rupa Goswami said, no? Even though maybe so many bubbles, mud, pollution in the Ganga, Ganga is always liquid Brahma, transcendence. Means these apparent things cannot affect the transcendental nature of the Ganga. So so-called defect in the body or character of devotee cannot affect their transcendental nature. So Bhagavan Acharya he was in Sakiras, he was very affectionate to Lord Chaitanya and had very close relationship with Swarup Damodar. So afterwards it mentioned that Bhagavan Acharya had one brother, but that is mentioned later. So there was one day, one Brahmin from Bengal, he had written a drama. And Roy also composed a drama. So this is one Vaishnava art actually. Our Gurudev also on his world tours, he would always engage the devotees in make some drama. Means some presentation of the different pastimes of the Lord or the different pastimes of the devotees. Sometimes those dramas really were excellent. So this comes from the pastimes of, like Nityananda Prabhu would also always engage in dramas. Even Lord Chaitanya in his Grihastha pastimes, he would also engage in different dramas. So this is one Vaishnava art. So this devotee had composed a drama. He wanted Lord Chaitanya to hear. This Brahmin was a friend of Bhagavan Acharya. And Bhagavan Acharya was he wanted this Brahmin. Indeed, this Brahmin was living with Bhagavan Acharya. So he wanted to read this poetry to Lord Chaitanya. So Bhagavan Acharya spoke. First, he spoke the drama to all the devotees. You know the story, Lalit Kishori? What do you know? So, first he spoke the drama to all the devotees, and all the devotees were very happy. Very good, they all said. Yes, great, excellent. So then they wanted Lord Chaitanya to hear it. But Lord Chaitanya would not hear it unless Swarup Damodar had heard. So, Swarup Damodar agreed to hear the drama. So Bhagavan Acharya, who was very close to Swarup Damodar, said, "A very nice Brahmin has presented one drama. It is exceptionally composed. So adao tumi shuna yadi tumar mana mane pache Mahaprabhu tabe karaimu shravan." First you hear this drama. If you like it, then we can have it presented to Lord Chaitanya. Little cowherd boy. Cowherd boys generally don't follow too many rules and regulations. So Swarup Damodar indicating like that. Sometimes the desire awakens within you to hear any kind of poetry. There is the possibility of rasabas. Rasabas means conflicting tastes. Like sweet is okay, sweet rice is okay. And in its own place, neem leaves is also very good. If you fry neem leaves, has a very bitter taste, but also tastes nice. So separately, they all each have their own uniqueness. But if you put fried neem leaves in sweet rice and eat it together, that will not produce a nice taste. So every ras, every devotional sentiment to Krishna has its own flavor. But if you mix them together, sometimes can cause disaster. Okay. So no one likes to hear such rasabas, this is called. Swarup Damodar said, rasabas ya nahi ka vichar, bhakti siddhanta sindhu nahi pai pa. A poet who has no proper understanding of devotional mellows, devotional sentiments, he may overlap these mellows. Like, for example, the mood of, I'm just giving some general, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, very extensive discussion is there of rasabhas. So generally the parental mood will not mix properly with the conjugal mood. Right? This is, no need to explain too much. This is one example. So Swarup Damodar said, a poet who does not know the proper principles of devotion, who is unfamiliar with how to compose a devotional drama, this will give pain to the hearers, and especially the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are most difficult to understand. No? Okay, Mekhala, is there any translation in Russian?
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm not asking. Okay, Tika Souls.
Slates.
So especially the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are very difficult to understand. Ordinary person, how can describe it properly? So especially if there's some also material like spiritual life, spiritual service to Krishna, if that's mixed with some mundane sentiments of man and woman, this also gives pain, unhappiness. No. So Rupa Goswami has given the standard for writing a drama. Okay, this is not the subject of today, but when Rupa Goswami had composed his Lalit Madhav and Vidagna Madhav, then all the devotees were assembled there in Puri, where Haridas Thakur would live. Siddha Bakul, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami would also live there. So Mahaprabhu himself asked, "Oh Rupa, what are you writing? Speak something." So when Rupa Goswami spoke that first verse, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunaya Avataro Kalo, like this, then Mahaprabhu was happy, but when he heard his own name, Sachi Sindhu Garba Harindu, when Rupa Goswami said, "Oh, Lord Chaitanya has appeared like the moon has appeared from the ocean," then Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, Rupa Goswami, your poetry is nice describing Krishna, but when you put my name, this is like a drop of poison. If you have a big pot of sweet rice and some drop of whiskey, some drop of poison in there, Purushottam, then the whole sweet rice is spoiled." Then devotees, I think Ramananda Roy said, oh, Swarup Damodar said, "Prabhu, this is not a drop of poison when he put your name there. This is like a drop of camphor. If anyone had sweet rice with camphor, then that's extraordinary taste. Have you had Purushottam? Sweet rice and camphor? Your life has no value at all." So Swarup Damodar said, "Oh, what he has written, this is not poison, this is like camphor. Increase the taste." Then Ramananda Roy himself examined the poetry of Rupa Goswami. What is the setting? What is the Mangala Charanam? What is the topic? Like this. What is the setting? Like this. And Rupa Goswami, one by one, he answered. And everyone who heard the poetry of Rupa Goswami became ecstatic, became happy. So Swarup Damodar said, Rupa Goswami himself has given the standard of devotional poetry. But still, Bhagavan, even though Swarup Damodar gave so many hints, okay, still Bhagavan Acharya said to Swarup Damodar, "Please hear something, please hear." So, in this way, 2 or 3 days passed, and Bhagavan Acharya continually to hear the poetry. Again and again, he said. So, Swarup Damodar sat down to hear. No, just remember, all devotees had also heard before. This was not some new thing. So Rupa Goswami said, "Speak the first verse, the Mangala Charanam." Okay, just like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's Mangala Charanam, right? This Mangala Charanam in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 14 verses. In Mangala Charanam, there is subject. Right? Vastunidesh, there's the result of hearing, Falshravan, and also Ashivad, some blessing. So Mangalacharanam should consist of these three things. Mangalacharan means auspicious invocation, the beginning. So the first verse was there. And the poet, he spoke. Vikacha Kamalanate Sri Jagannatha Samde Kanakaruchir Irhatmane Atmanam Yapapana Prakati Jarama Shesham Chetayan Avirashit Sa Dishatu Tava Bhagavan Krishna Chaitanya Devaha. What is the meaning? The Supreme Personality of Godhead has assumed a golden complexion and has become the soul of the body named Jagannath, whose eyes are widely expanded. Thus he has appeared in Jagannath Puri and brought dull matter to life. May the Dev bestow all good fortune on you. When everyone heard this, all the ordinary devotees became very happy. Very good, very nice. But Swarup Damodar Goswami asked him, please explain the verse. So the poet began to explain. Lord Jagannath has a most beautiful body. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the owner of that body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here in Nilachal to spiritualize the entire dull material world. Hearing this, everyone became happy. But alone, Swarup Damodar became very unhappy. Mari Murka, Apana Koelo Sarvanas, Duitu Ishwara Thor Nahiko Biswas. Punananda Chit Swarup Jagannatha Rai, Tar Koile Jar Nashwar Prakrita Koi. No? You are a fool, Arimurk. Apana Koile Sarvanas. You have destroyed yourself. Duitu Ishwara Tar Nahiko Biswas. You have no faith in either Lord Jagannath or Lord Chaitanya. Both. You have no proper understanding. You have no understanding, you have no faith. Why? Purnananda Chit Swarup Jagannath Rai Tar Koili Ja Nashwa. No? Have you seen the deity of Lord Jagannath? Divya Shakti? Anyway.
Have I seen what?
Jagannath. Picture of Jagannath.
Yes, I've seen him.
So, Lord Jagannath, the deity form, is completely spiritual and full of transcendental bliss. But you have compared the body of Lord Jagannath to be like material. Fault number one. Number two, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, Bhagawan, full in six opulences. Right? Bhagawan means the person who has complete knowledge, complete beauty, complete strength, complete fame, complete knowledge, complete renunciation. So Lord Chaitanya is the fire. And the individual souls are like sparks from a fire. But you have compared Lord Chaitanya not to be the original fire, the source of everything, but you have compared him to be a spark, like an ordinary living entity. Number two. Number three, Duitani aparad poibe durgati ataiva gyat tatvarvane tada eiriti. Because you have committed an offense to Lord Jagannath by saying the deity has a material form, and you have compared Lord Chaitanya, thinking him to be an ordinary soul, an individual soul instead of the supreme soul, what will happen? You will go to hell. You do not know how to describe the absolute truth, but nonetheless you have tried to do so, therefore you are condemned. Fourth, Are Koreache Parama Pramad Deha Dehi Bed Ishwa Koile Aparad. Okay, still awake, Vyasadev? Don't sleep. Number 4, there's a difference between our soul and our body. But there's no difference between Krishna's soul and Krishna's body, right? Because Krishna has a spiritual body. Krishna doesn't change bodies, like Krishna doesn't leave his body. We change bodies, our soul leaves our body. There's a difference between the soul and the body of us, but there's no difference between Krishna's soul and Krishna's body. In other words, his body is completely spiritual. So, Are Koreche Parama Pramad, you have made a great mistake. You have made a difference between the body and the soul of Lord Jagannath. Remember, the poet said, Lord Jagannath is the body and Lord Chaitanya is the soul. So this is a great offense. So you've made a difference. Nam Nami Deha Deha Krishna Hibed, Jiver Sarvata Hoilo Vived. There's a difference between us and our body. There's a difference between our inside and outside. There's a difference between our name and us. But these differences are not in Krishna. There's no difference between Krishna's name and himself. There's no difference between Krishna's inside and outside. There's no difference between his so-called body or so-called soul. Krishna is the Advaigyan Paratattva, the non-dual absolute truth. There is no duality in him. But you have said there's a difference. Ishwa nahi kabu deha deha bed, Swarup deha chidananda nahi go vived. At no time is there a difference between the body and the soul of the Supreme Lord. His personal identity and his body are made of blissful spiritual energy. There is no difference between them. No. In Lagu Bhagavatamrita and the Kurma Puran, Rupa Goswami has quoted, Deha Dehi Vibhagyam Neshwara Vitati Kvachit. At any time, there is no difference between the soul and body of the Supreme Lord. Okay, then he quoted one verse of Lord Brahma. Brahma said, I won't read the Sanskrit, I'll spell you that. Oh my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal knowledge and bliss. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change, no deterioration. I surrender to you because where I have proud of my material body and senses, but your Lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation. You are untouched by matter. Okay. So Swarup Damodar quoted from Chaitanya, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kaha Punananda Aishwarya Krishna Mayashwar, Kaha Kshudradev Dukki Mayara Kinka. Where is Krishna, who is full of Purnananda, full of complete bliss? Krishna Mayaswar, Krishna who is the Lord of Maya. Krishna is never captured by illusion. He is always the controller of illusion. So where is Krishna? Possessed of unlimited knowledge and bliss. And where is the individual soul who is always unhappy and captured by illusion? In English we say, where's chalk and where's cheese? So where is Krishna? Where is the individual soul? The Supreme Soul Krishna is unlimited, and the individual soul is limited. Krishna is all-pervading, but we are not all-pervading. We are only in one body, but Krishna is in all bodies. We possess some potency, but Krishna is omnipotent, possessed of unlimited potency. Okay, so where is Krishna and where is individual soul? You cannot compare them. Ladinya Samvid Ashlishtaha Sachidananda Ishwara Swadhyaya Sambhito Jiva Shanklesha Nikara Karaha. This is from the commentary of Sridhar Swami. The Supreme Personality is always full of transcendental bliss and always accompanied by the potencies known as Ladini and Samvit. Bliss and knowledge are always with him. But the individual souls is always covered by ignorance and suffering the miseries of life. Right? Thus, the individual soul is a treasure house of all kinds of suffering. Right? Every day we're suffering so much. Some injury, some disease, sleep, restlessness of the mind or senses, poverty, bad reputation. Every day so many things happening. So when everyone heard the explanation of Swarup Damodar, everyone becomes struck with wonder. Right? 10 minutes before, everyone was saying this poetry is great. But when I heard from high class devotee, they could understand this is rubbish. That's why ordinary persons should never attempt to go beyond their qualification. Just repeat what you heard from Guru. But you think I know more than Guru and start inventing many things? The common devotees may accept it and may even glorify it, but learned persons will reject it. So 5 minutes before, everyone was saying, very good, but after hearing the explanation of Swarup Damodar, they thought, yes, Sune saba sabde chit hoile chamatkar satya ke Goswami duhu koreche tirishka. Yes, what Swarup Damodar Goswami has said is true. This Brahmana from Bengal has made a great offense by wrongly describing Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya. When the Bengali poet heard this chastisement from Swarup Damodar, he became ashamed, fearful, and astonished. He appeared like a duck in an assembly of white swans. Ta duk deki Swarup sadai hriday. Seeing the poet's unhappiness, Swarup Damodar was very kind. So he spoke something to encourage him. Ya Bhagavad Pada Vaishnavastani